This episode of Hey Han is brought to you by Damanci. Damanci is a hair care brand that is centered around you feeling your absolute best. I even have a special code for you guys to be able to save on your order at the checkout at Damanci.com. Use my code Hannah10 and thank me later. Hey, hello, how are ya? Welcome back to Hey Han. I'm your host, Hannah Fletcher, and we are speaking with Dani DMC today. But before we get into it, make sure that you guys go ahead and interact with this content in any way possible. If you are watching us on one of our visual platforms, please make sure to go ahead and hit the like and subscribe button with any notifications turned on. And if you are listening to us, please leave us a comment or a review. It really helps us out a lot here at Hey Han. And as always, leave us a comment and let us know what you guys would like to continue to see on the show. Now, without further ado, sit back, relax, and get to know Dani DMC. Hey everybody, this is Hannah Fletcher, and I have Dani DMC with me.
I'm in the building, baby.
Can we talk about, first of all, how contrasting, but I love the vibe.
Different genres going on right now. I keep telling people I'm living out my emo girl era because I never had one.
I love it. Well, I'm so excited to be able to speak with you. So talk to me, how did your content creation journey get started? I want to start there.
Okay, yeah. So I moved to LA in 2017. I became a plus size model. I got signed in LA, New York, Chicago. It was kind of a whirlwind because being a plus size girl, there was no like blueprint, you know, it just all happened. And I was like, what, is this even a career? Like, I can monetize this? I can impact people's lives like this? Like, this is insane. So that kind of took off. Come 2018, I felt like I had so much more to give, and there's still a lot of like issues in the plus size industry, modeling industry, with airbrushing, you know, editing your body. Like, I just had a voice and I had more to say, and I really wanted to touch on the confidence component. So 2018, I started YouTube. I made my first YouTube video, and it just popped off because there weren't really a lot of plus size creators that were doing what I was doing, and especially plus size fashion creators like being super swaggy, and like I always want to show like the plus size it girl, like the plus size best. You can be the best dressed in the room. It doesn't matter your size, your weight, none of that. Like, you can rock anything no matter what. So that just like really hit and resonated with people, and yeah, it just grew from there. TikTok, you know, took off in 2020, so you know, followed that wave as well, and it's just been incredible.
That is so neat. So what was like that aha moment for you? And I love asking people this question because the answer is always so different. What was the aha moment when you realized, like, I made it, I don't have quite a normal life like I once used to have?
Yeah. That's such a good question. I think for me, I'm a workaholic, and I've gotten so much better as I've gotten older and just growing in this industry, but I used to be really hard on myself and just like focusing on what's next, and that's a huge piece of advice I give to like new creators, is like really try to live in the moment and embrace what's going on, because I think everything happens so quickly for me that I just was like, oh my God, I hit 100K subs, 200K, I hit 200, 300K, I hit 300, 400, right? And I didn't take that moment to be like, I wish I marveled more in my success, and I do now all the time.
Right.
But I would say the moment that really impacted me the most was like fans coming up to me all over the world. Like, I'll be in Paris, I'll be in Italy, I'll be in Spain, anywhere, and people come up to me and recognize me. And not only are they just saying like, oh my God, Dani DMC, I love you. It's like, you've changed my life. Like, you've made me so confident. You make me feel like I can wear whatever I want. I can embrace my body. I broke up with the guy that talked down to me. Like, those type of things, you know? It's just so powerful. So I think that is like one of my biggest moments for me, is just, and still continues to touch me, you know, 5 years in the game, is like, wow, I'm really like impacting people's lives. I'm living out my purpose, which is like the best thing for me.
That is so neat, because I mean, I think that there's this huge common misconception that comes with being a content creator, where it's like, especially, you know, you get into brand deal territory because you're big enough to be able to have that as a content creator. I love the fact that you are so authentic and that you bring so much humanity to it, and the fact that you're able to have this as your job. What is a piece of advice that you would give to somebody who is struggling? And I feel like, especially in women and just like in general, there's so many people that are struggling to accept their bodies. What is a piece of advice maybe that you were able to kind of give to yourself that you would give to other people who are struggling to accept themselves?
I think the best thing that ever helped me in my life was I was forced to be alone a lot when I was younger. I had, you know, like a traumatic childhood, which like we all have a bit of trauma, you know what I'm saying, for the most part. And so I was like forced to create this relationship with myself where like I knew even when the world didn't have my back or I felt so alone, like I had myself. So I always try to really get people to focus on this relationship with yourself. We're so eager to like have a boyfriend, have a girlfriend, have a best friend, and like cultivate and nurture that relationship. But we don't spend enough time nurturing the relationship with ourselves and realizing that like it sounds crazy, corny, whatever you call it, but it's fun because you get to do, when you're with yourself, you can do whatever you want, whatever you want, eat whatever you want, go see whatever movie you want. You don't have to be like, hey girl, what movie do you want to see today? It's like all about you. And I think the more time you get uncomfortable, the more time you spend alone, your relationship with yourself grows, and you prove to yourself that no matter what the world thinks or what society's telling you, you can rely on yourself, your own brain, this brain that you've rewired and created to align with you, and not just like what society has told you is okay. And it just continues to grow from there. So I always say, just shut everyone out for a while, spend some time with yourself, whether it's reading a book, journaling, taking yourself on a date. Really try to cultivate that relationship with yourself.
I love that. And that makes me feel so good to hear you say that, because I'm the type of person, I'm an only child. So like I grew up alone by nature, you know, but I haven't thought about that in quite a few years, especially because of the pandemic and being locked inside. So I felt like I had to be super social. So I love hearing you say that, because it reminds me that it is okay to take yourself on dates and to just do things with yourself.
Yeah, and it's interesting too that like when we take ourselves out to eat, like a lot of times we get so uncomfortable. But why is that? Like you're uncomfortable but I think it's because you're uncomfortable being alone. You're uncomfortable with yourself. You feel insecure, like you have to be reading a book or be in your phone, or you can't just sit there in silence. And I think that is where it starts. Sit there in silence. Like, what's the worst that's going to happen? Someone's going to look at you and be like, oh, she's alone? Yeah, I am alone. I'm with my favorite person in the world.
Exactly. Like, how can I help you?
Yeah. Like,
I love that. Well, talk to me. Obviously, you're huge into fashion. What is a piece of advice that you would give for somebody trying to look to find their style? How did you find your style?
I think along the lines of what we've been talking about, for me, I had to like cut out everything I'd been taught. So for me growing up, my mom was in the fashion industry. She was a buyer. My mom is straight size, same with my sister. I'm the only plus size person in my family. And I was so fortunate that my mom was so creative. Like we would go to New York City. I'm from Chicago. So we would go to New York for like back to school shopping sometimes. She would like surprise us with a trip. And she would take me to like, you know, men's stores, and like I have to get really creative because things didn't fit me. There were not clothes in my size, but I had a mom that showed me like it's okay to express your individuality, and if you can't find something, we'll keep searching. And then even when clothing stores did become available in my size, it was not my vibe. It was floral, it was peplum, it was like trying to hide my whole body.
Right, I noticed that, and I'm like, why?
This is not what I want. I want to be in a thong bikini, just like my skinny friends. Like, so I think just really starting with a fresh slate, clean slate. What do I want to look like? Like, I think that's what, like I was telling you earlier, that's where I came up with this idea of like wanting to show like the it fat girl. You know what I mean? Like, and the it girl can mean something different to everyone, no matter if you know, are a girl that's into tech and like you're a nerd. Show that it girl version of yourself, you know? For me, it was, I want to be like a boss, beat, and show that like a fat girl can be, you can walk in a room and I feel like people all the time are like, oh my God, I love your outfit, your dress is so good. When it's like, when I was younger, I couldn't do that because there weren't options for me. My outfits used to be crazy, unique, individual style, but crazy.
I love that. I cannot stress just how much I love your authenticity, and it really shows through in your content.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah,
that means the most to me. That's like the best compliment.
No, it's great, and that's what I look for. That's what draws me to a creator. I'm like, I will hit the follow button if I feel so attached to you. You know, and I love that. Now, my final question to you is, obviously you're working with a great company, Viral Nation.
Yes.
Talk to me about what it was like having the opportunity to work with them, and then kind of what it's been like having the opportunity.
So I've been with Viral Nation only for like 3 or 4 months, I want to say. It's been incredible so far. So my personal agent, Tony Rose, she was with BBTV, who I was signed with for a while. So I trust her. I've worked with her for a long time. And when I first got with her, she like fought to be with me because she's also a plus size woman. She loves my content. And so that made me like, wow, okay, this person's really like, you know, they're fighting for me. They're rooting for me. So like that makes me feel appreciated and like we're going to have a good business relationship. Also, when Viral Nation first reached out, Joe, the CEO, reached out to me. He sent me an email. He sent me an email and he was like, you know, hey, I'm Joe. I'm one of the CEOs and I don't usually reach out to talent, but I'm really interested by your stuff and I want to talk to you. And we got on a call and he was just so cool, so authentic. Like, I'm Italian, so I come from like a big family and he just made me feel like that, like just super welcomed. And then I met JC, the president of the company, who I love. And the thing that resonated the most with me, for me with him and everyone at Viral Nation is I feel like I'm a dreamer, right? So I always like have all these ideas, but my management prior, I've been with a lot of different managers, and I feel like they've always met me where I'm at, but I want someone to think above me. Like, if I'm dreaming the biggest in the room, there's a problem, right?
I agree, yes.
And so I feel like JC and Tony Rose and Joe had all these ideas for me that I hadn't even thought about before, and I'm like, wait, I would be perfect for that. Wait, that's such a good idea. Like,
You're right.
My gosh, yeah, I agree. And so, yeah, it's been incredible. We're just getting started, and I think the beautiful thing is I've been in this industry for 5 years, but I feel like I'm just at the tip of the iceberg. Like, I have so much more to give. Like, the monetization component of this industry is beautiful, and it's such a blessing that I'm able to make the money I do. But for me, the impact is so much more important, and I think that's why, like, a lot of people would be happy with where I'm at. Like, oh, I make great money. Let me kick my feet up, chill. Right. But for me, it's like, I have work to do, you know? Like, I have real changes to make. I always say, like, I'm a revolutionary, and this is a revolutionary movement. So, like, I have things to do, and the more I can get my voice amplified, the more people I can impact, and the more people I can help them rewire their minds and start with a clean slate and, you know, really build that confidence and pick that energy up for me. So I'm so happy to be with Rival Nation. I feel like we have so many great things in store. It's only up from here, and I'm geeked about it.
Oh my gosh, I love that answer so much. And I agree. I mean, this is the time to do it.
Yes.
I mean, this is the time to take your voice, take your abilities, and with a great team too.
Yeah.
Love Joe.
Yeah,
love
he's
Joe.
the best. Yeah, we love you, Joe.
Oh my gosh. Well, thank you so much for speaking with me.
Thank you for having me. Thank you. I really appreciate it. This was awesome.
Of course.
Yeah.
Thank you so much to Dani for coming on and for speaking with me. I love your energy. I love your positivity. And I am so excited to see how you continue on your career journey. And I am so excited to just be able to champion you from the sidelines. So keep on keeping on. To my audience, I just want to go ahead and recommend that you guys check out the rest of Hey Han if you haven't listened to or seen any of the previous episodes in this season. They are so great. And we have had so many wonderful conversations. So please go ahead and make sure that you take a look into those. I've spoken with Morgan Presley, Nick Ray, Tom Ward, and so many more, so please go ahead and check out those other videos as well. To my audience, I challenge you this week to do the following. Make sure that you are writing your feelings down. Now, this is sometimes very difficult. I've went through different spurts in my life where I'm journaling constantly and where I haven't journaled for months, if not years. But I really recommend just writing things down that have happened to you, or maybe that make you apprehensive, or maybe even try to mock out a conversation that maybe you're not looking forward to having with that coworker or with that person that you're in a relationship with or that you're related to. But write things down, because when you write things down, it makes it real, but it also takes away any negative power, I personally think. So, like I said, do what works for you and take this and adapt it to however you would like. But write something down this week, whether it's a memory that you're excited about and that you want to remember, or maybe it's something, like I mentioned before, that you're apprehensive about. Just take a moment, spend some time with yourself, and journal. I promise you, it is actually such a great cathartic practice to get into. Thank you guys so much for watching. Again, I'm your host, Hannah Fletcher, and I will see you guys next week on Hey Han. Bye, everyone.